Hey, friends, so glad you chose to be with us today. I trust you like the new weather. Man, I don't know about you, but I about had it with the wintertime. You can't go fishing when it's cold outside, and so it's fishing time. So I trust if you hadn't gotten on the lake, hey, grab your grandkids, your significant other, get out there on the water and have a good time. Just don't do it on Sunday. That's my message. Hey, Michael, how you doing, brother?
I'm very good, Clay. How are you?
I'm good. Do you like to go fishing?
Yeah, occasionally.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
We'll have to make that happen. You know, there's we both have a friend that has a boat, and lake's not too far from us. And so, tell us about your family.
Well, I am married to Stacy Cathcart. She's director of women's ministries for North Texas Assemblies of God. I've got 3 kids. They are 30, well, let's say 33, 30, and 23. So boy, girl, boy. All of the grandkids, which is the best part of the family, are from my daughter. We've got 3 grandkids now. Jack is 5, Maggie is 3, and Griffin is 8, 9 months, somewhere in there. So it's
you're getting into the fun stage.
Oh my goodness! They always told me that everything that you ever hear about how good it is to be a grandparent is real.
Yeah.
And as soon as that first grandkid came along, I'm like, oh yeah, that friend was right.
Yeah, everybody talks about the golden years. Well, that's it, brother. That's
Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that.
5 years old, so they're outside wanting to kind of do their thing. Other one's 3, 5, 3, so they're running. And the 8 months, they're just starting to sit up. And
yeah, he's just about ready to crawl. He's really trying, but I think he's crawled a time or two, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
Hadn't witnessed that yet. Yeah. So you and I met about 2 years ago.
That's right.
And when I first talked, of course, we should have talked about this. You're from Wichita.
Yes.
You're here in Dallas now, but from Wichita.
That's correct.
Like, how long were you guys in Wichita?
Oh, goodness. Stacy was there probably the majority of her life. I think she moved there when she was a little girl.
Okay.
I moved there after college. And so we raised our kids there. We were there, I would have moved there in 1992, and we left in 2020. So
I didn't realize you guys left during COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. People were like, what are you thinking? But, hey, it was what God called us to do. So it was time to go, and we went.
When we met 2 years ago, I told you what I was looking for. Do you happen to remember what that was?
A friend.
Yeah. Said I'm looking for an architect who was a friend.
Yeah.
And it's been an incredible journey.
It has.
That part of the journey has been some of the parts of them kind of going.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, kind of going, Lord, is this really what you are asking us to do right now? Somebody asked me the other day, said, how's it going? I went, I'm still here.
Yeah. I'm still working on it.
You've been a blessing to Dallas Metro and to me personally.
I appreciate that.
And have helped us. And we haven't even got to the hard part. That's the scary part. You know,
that is true. Yeah.
We're still at what should be the fun part. But when we first looked at this, we talked about 3 different buildings. And I actually gave you too much information, if you can do that with an I kind of put some limitations on you, and you is this what you want? And I said, yeah. And so you drew up, and I looked at it, well, yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind. And he says, do you really want me to help you? I went, he said, I have a better idea. And I went, well, yes, I want it. And so the plan that you drew was just phenomenal, man. It's so much nicer than anything, not only that I would have designed. Chris is in the house today. He sits on our board. He knows we looked at every old burned out warehouse in Dallas, and so that's kind of what I was thinking. I really wasn't thinking anything close to what you have drawn for. Speaking of Chris, I forget to do this every week. Folks, if you need some help with any kind of media, podcasts, anything in that area, I encourage you to use Full Circle Studios, and you can find them at thefullcirclestudios.com. Go to their webpage. Chris and his team, they will bless you, and they'll help meet your need. But tell us about these three buildings that you drew for us.
Sure. Well, you did have three major parts to what you needed to do. And going back to giving me too much information and constraints, that's actually really good for an architect to have the information, because it helps us to know where we're going to go. But two, the constraints, I very much feel like you have to have constraints in order to design a quality building. So there was no worries there on my part. But yeah, we're looking at a ministry center that kind of functions like a church. We've got office space, we've got a sanctuary type space, lobby, all the things that you would expect in a church. We also have the maintenance and storage facility where you can kind of work on your buses. You can stockpile all the parts and pieces that you guys take out on your ministry tours and different events and things like that, as well as food. And then we have a chapel and an outdoor play area. And one of the things you wanted on that play area was a covered play area. And so we've accomplished that as well. Technically, it's three buildings, but we've kind of incorporated into a plan that I feel like looks like one building. And they're all spaces flow into each other nicely, I think. So,
you mentioned the food. Chris is very much aware of this, being on our board. But I read a stat, and I read, when you read something once on the internet, okay, let's see if where did they get that information? Kind of like social media, right? Everybody puts one thing out there as the gospel, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I read three different sources last week that Dallas has the third largest poor children in America. Now, it's really hard to wrap your brain around when you think about the polished big D, right?
Right, yeah, because there's so much wealth here, too.
Yeah. Move your corporation to Dallas, Texas. All our kids are on food programs at the school. And there are a lot of programs. A lot of schools have partnered with either local churches or other nonprofits, and when they see a child that's hungry, they have some food. They'll put it in their backpack and they'll take it home, and that helps. But at Christmas time, and this has happened the last 2 years. When it happened Christmas, let's say 2023. A little girl came up and said she was sick. This is on a Sunday morning, and it's during the Christmas holidays. So, normally when a child tells you that you're sick, you think, okay, let's see. They got the flu, they got a cold, what's going on? But when a child comes up to us and tells us that they're sick, the very first question we ask them is, when was the last time you ate?
Yeah.
Because normally when a child comes up and they're sick, it's because they haven't eaten, particularly during the holidays. You're going about 2 weeks without food.
Right.
So it happened again this year, a little different. As you know, James and I travel most every Sunday out partnering with other churches, asking them to be a part of what the Lord's doing here in the city. And so we're gone most weeks on Sundays. But this was the Sunday after Christmas. A young teenage boy came up to me, said, we just want to introduce himself. Said he'd been coming for 3 weeks. So I asked him, I said, so why have you been coming? He said, because the presence of the Lord is so real here. You don't normally get that from a teenager,
No,
so
you don't.
That was I was a surprise. Made me proud to hear that, you know.
For sure.
But then the second thing he said was, do you have any more of those donuts that you guys gave away before church? Well, immediately I knew he wasn't looking for a donut.
Yeah.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
So one of the things couple of things that the new building will do for us. One is that we will have food on site, which we don't right now because we're renting facilities from the Lighthouse. And two, we'll have a way to warm up food so that we can give them something hot to eat on the spot. But when they get through, we already have stuff prepackaged in a box take that box home and help them. So when we say you're talking about the warehouse. I mean, obviously, all the Sunday school stuff, all our outreach stuff, bus parts and all that stuff, that'll be in the warehouse. But the another component in there is it'll have a walk-in freezer,
right?
Walk-in refrigerator. So this isn't just dry goods. I mean, we're actually going to have some food that they can take home, and it's something that we need today. You would think that need has gone down. I would think that because our city is changing, you know, and yet the need is still there in a significant way. So that's just another reason why we need to get these facilities up so that we can meet this need on a daily basis.
Right.
So
Wow.
the building's going to be it's basically a metal building, right?
Yeah. It's a pre-engineered structure, and it's designed so that if we phase the project, we can phase it. If we build it all at once, it works as well. But that keeps your cost down in terms of a structural system, and it really is 3 buildings in one. So.
Yeah, and that's our goal. You know, we've broken it into phases, and I think we can even break it down even smaller bite sizes than what we've got it. But the only reason for that is cash flow. Right. You know, we're still committed to paying cash, even though if the economy has been questionable for a while. Yeah. It has nothing to do with who is in office or who is not in office, because when the last president was in office, they said the same thing, you know. Exactly. Yeah. It's questionable, you know, is this the right time to build? Well, Mike, you and I both know God's economy and world economy. Yeah. Not exactly the same. Not exactly the same, and he can do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. Isn't that the truth? So. Yeah. If you look at just the children of Israel, I mean, they had nothing, brother. That's right. And yet the 40 years they were in the wilderness never went without. That's right. That's right. So I still believe that regardless of the economy, God's going to provide. The three phases we talked about. One was phase 1, which is basically site work. I mean, nobody wants to get excited about site work, but you know what, you can't build until the site work is done. Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. It is. Well, particularly like one of the things is the detention pond. First off, who wants to build a detention pond? You know, talk about digging a hole and you got nothing to show for it, right? Yeah, I even try to avoid that on my end. But the city has other ideas, right? The city, yeah, and they're always revising those regulations. And yeah, they are. They are. So that's something people could pray with us. We are at the site plan part of this, which requires. I have no idea how many departments get to bless this before it gets through. Well, the city of Dallas Works. There's an initial meeting with a whole bunch of departments, and they get their 2 cents worth, so that going forward it gets through plan review nicely. But there's a whole lot of fire department, sewer, and everything above. So. That's something people would like to pray with us about that. You know, we need a lot of favor with the city just so that we can get to having the site work done. And all of the site work, and that's pavement and concrete and all that kind of stuff, about $2 million. And then phase 2 is the 3 buildings you talked about, which is the warehouse, the ministry center, and the prayer chapel. Our people have heard us talk about this many times. I hope. Chris and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. I did just get back from Phoenix, and Dream City Church has had a prayer chapel for, I don't know, man, at least 2 decades. Yeah, it's a beautiful facility. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you like those pictures of the sanctuary? Oh, yeah. I think I told you I had seen that years ago in magazines, and
It's a beautiful facility.
Yeah, it won some awards for the architectural features and so forth, but that's neither here nor there. Pastor Tommy had that dream for years, before it ever came to pass, and it was there that the Lord spoke to Barbara and I. Probably before the chapel was ever finished, because like I say, he had that dream for a long, and he had some interesting challenges with the city. They didn't want them putting a building up on this beautiful
I bet
mountain. And there's several words I would use to describe that mountain. Beautiful is probably not one of them. Okay, it's the desert. Come on now, you're right.
Yeah.
But I something Chris and I were talking. Everybody needs a place to go to pray. Everybody. Life has a way of getting your attention, and you get some of us, we have to get pretty desperate, but we do get desperate. And when that happens, you need a place to pray. And so that third building will be a prayer chapel that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so it's going to be very much a part of who we are. And so to erect all three of those buildings is going to cost us about $4 million. And then to finish all three of those buildings will be about $3 million. So that's kind of where we're going. And people say, how long will it take for us to build that? That's another question people ask all the time. What do you think?
Oh, if you just started digging dirt and pushed all the way through at one time, it's probably an 12 to 18 month project.
Yeah, okay. So, folks, that tells you we need to get started on this pretty quick.
That's right.
For sure. One of the things that that we do each week is we offer a nugget, something that people can use. All of us, life can be challenging. I'm sure you've got a list, and I was talking about. I've got one family that trying to figure out how they're going to take care of their mom because of health problems, and so you're trying to figure, okay, how do you do that? And then one on our staff, their mom unexpectedly died yesterday. So when that happens, you're kind of going, okay, let's see, how do we maneuver through that this week? Well, there are other people that they're trying to maneuver through that stuff, but they're trying to do it alone. I'm grateful for the Lord, but honestly, we also need friends, and that's our nugget for this week is friendship. David and Jonathan are the perfect example for what a true friend is. 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 17, it says, "And Jonathan made David reaffirm his vow of friendship again, for Jonathan loved David as he loved himself." So, my admonition to people out there today is, if you don't have a friend like David, because I hear people say all the time, I don't have a friend. Well, the answer to that is, then be a friend.
Exactly.
If you want a friend, then be a friend.
That's right.
Because when you decide to do that, then you'll be surprised how many friends the Lord will he'll bring your way. So for those of you that you're struggling this week, you're trying to figure out, I'm kind of walking. Well, first off, trust the Lord. Okay, that's my first admonition to you. Trust the Lord. Whatever, if you'll pray about it, I believe that God will hear and answer your prayer. But the Lord also, He didn't make us to walk alone, and there are other brothers and sisters out there in the Lord that will help you. And so, if you're not going through a crisis, now would be a great time, an easy time to get a friend. It's kind of tough to find a friend when you're kind of struggling alone, but you never know. Maybe this crisis is going to help you realize maybe we're not quite as strong or quite as smart as we thought we were. If you'll be that friend that David was to Jonathan and Jonathan was to David, it was reciprocating each way. They both loved each other very, very dearly. Michael, the purpose of these facilities is, first off, we want to put this next generation in a position to win, which is why we're so dead set on, paying cash.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of leaders that they build this really, really nice facility, and then they ride off out into the sunset.
It happens quite often.
Yeah,
yes.
It sure does. You have a wonderful facility,
Yeah.
which this will be. I mean, what you've designed is, wow. It's so gorgeous, brother.
Oh, I appreciate that.
It's sharp. it's really, really nice. And our people, our guys, our team is going to be blessed. Obviously, the people, the people we minister to. Wow. But when you leaving debt behind like that, well, from your perspective, they've heard me say, well, what if we leave that kind of debt behind? What are we doing for this next generation?
Well, obviously, they have to pay that mortgage, and that's on a facility this large, that's a difficult deal. And so their focus goes to that rather than to the ministry. And the whole point of this building is it's a tool for ministry. It's not just a place to reside. It's something that you use, and that's what church buildings really are anymore. They're a tool that God gives us to meet the needs.
Right.
So
yeah. And I like that you use that word tool. That's the exact analogy the Lord has given to me, and that is our team. They're missing a tool in their tool belt.
Yeah.
And these new facilities will, right now we're renting 3 different facilities just to meet the needs, and that's not the it's not the best use of funds, for sure. Plus, it's not all centrally located, and as I mentioned earlier, we don't even have what we need to do what we're doing today. But leaving behind debt, first off, and we don't talk about this, and we probably should, this is not my legacy. People think, okay, this new facility will be my legacy. My response to them is, if this is my legacy, I've wasted my life.
Yeah, exactly.
First off, you know me well. You'll see I do advertise Dallas Metro, but you don't see my name on anything, because this has never been about Barbara and I. Still, and this building is definitely not about Barbara and I. This is what the Lord's doing in our city, and we believe the Lord is the one that's opened up the doors. I mean, how else can you explain the Lighthouse giving us land right next door to them?
Right.
How else can you explain the Lighthouse? The Lord bringing you into our lives? I mean, I knew you. I didn't even know you were an architect,
Yeah.
until Mark mentioned it to me. I mean, Stacy, obviously, she didn't say anything about it. So I feel like the Lord brought you our way. And I believe that the Lord is going to bring other people who will
100%.
partner with us so that we don't leave behind this burden. And that's what it would be. It would be going from a blessing to a burden.
Right.
As you said, they'll spend our team will be spending all their time trying to figure out how do we make the payment on this instead of reaching people for Christ, which is what God has called us to do.
That's right.
And probably the best part of this facility is it's going to allow us to take the ministry to the next level.
Yeah.
We'll be able to at least double our bus ministry on Saturday. We're going to be the sky will almost be the limit on what we can do on our sidewalk trucks, because something we didn't mention in there is that behind the facility is a fenced-in area that we can park all our vehicles. Once again, this won't mean anything to our audiences, but they're not used to the theft that we are, okay?
Yes.
And the dollars that it costs just to kind of keep everything going. Not to mention that we keep vehicles in different places because we don't have enough space to park those vehicles. So first off, everything we have now will be in a secure place. And I'm not trying to paint a picture just because it's secure. All of a sudden, it's 100% safe. You can't stop theft.
No, you can slow it down a little bit, but
exactly,
they find a way.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's one of the great. It's probably one of the few things I've never grown accustomed to working in the city. I still get upset when people steal from it, because most of the time I say, if you're really that desperate, if you ask me, we probably would help you, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of breaking something we've got, torn it up, that you're only going to get a few bucks for.
Yeah.
I'd probably give you the money, just don't. Okay, I'm not going to give them the money, but I'd help them, all right?
Exactly.
I'd give them some groceries or clothing, whatever it is,
Just
furniture, whatever it is you
break our
need. If we
stuff.
can, we'll help you. But by this new facility, not only is it going to be debt free, but it's going to allow us. It's going to put the next generation in a position to raise Dallas Metro to the next level.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a win-win.
Yes, it is.
And Michael, you're very much a part of that, and I'm
Well,
very grateful for that.
I've been very grateful to be a part of it. It's been a fun. Your team and everybody is great. You're great. I've marveled that you're talking about your legacy not being the building, and we're talking about it being a tool. And I've very much gathered that in the 2 years that I've known you. I hear Dallas Metro's name all the time outside of our conversations, and it's a worthy ministry that God has granted you the ability to lead for so many years. And I love the fact that you're wanting to give them this new tool for that next generation. That it's going to set them up to do many, many more things than
Right.
you've been able to do so far.
Agreed. Yeah, we're going to be more effective, reach more people, and doing it all for Jesus. I think that's a win-win.
Amen.
So there are people watching today, maybe first-timers, who knows, maybe some that they've heard this before, but maybe the light bulbs never come on. What would you tell them? Why should they partner with us today and believe God for this miracle?
Well, because it's very easy to believe in the ministry that Dallas Metro does to further the kingdom and to meet the needs of the kids. And we've been talking about it. This will be a giant leap forward in what you're able to do to minister to the kids and the families. And you'll have a place to bring them together. You'll have a place to keep your parts and pieces all safe. But it'll give you a roof over your head, all in one location. It'll take that you're not paying rent anymore. You're typically just maintaining and fixing things over the years to come. But that's just a small cost compared to a mortgage or rent payment or things like that. So it also will free up funds in the future. So it's just so many benefits to having this building and furthering the ministry and utilizing it for that reason.
Amen. Michael, appreciate your friendship, brother.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure, for sure.
Appreciate you taking time to be here with us. It's been interesting to see how this journey unfolds in front of us.
Yes.
It's going to be a testimony to the Lord and how He's going to take and supernaturally provide.
We've had those conversations before. I believe He will. I believe we're all going to be amazed by God. Yeah. Even though we've been serving Him our whole lives, it never ceases to amaze me what He can and does do. So I believe that for you.
Yeah. Thanks for being here today, brother.
Amen.
For those of you that are watching, hey, let me encourage you to go to our webpage, dallasmetro.org. Click on All In, then click on What is All In. And the facilities that Michael's been talking about, you can see all the pictures. You can actually see the floor plan of how everything is developing. One thing I just thought about we didn't mention is the big foyer area that Michael has drawn up for us is actually going to double as a feeding space. And he was talking about that play area. There's actually glass doors between those two. So we actually raise that up, and it'll more than double our capacity to have outreaches there at Metro. You can make this dream happen today. As a matter of fact, it's going to take all of us together. And all I'm asking you to do is, what's the Lord asking you to do? I believe that the Lord is asking us all to do something different. We're all at different phases in life. Some of us we're on part-time income. Some of us are, the Lord is blessing us financially. Some of us we're on limited income. I understand that. We're at different places. But you know what? The ask is the same. Lord, you just ask the one, say, Lord, what is it that you want me to do to make a difference in the inner city of Dallas? Who are the children? Maybe we need to put some names on it. Chris, let's do that next week. Let's put some faces on some kids that you can help. So go to our webpage, click on All In, click on what is it all in, then click the donate button. And would you prayerfully consider giving a one-time gift? But what would really help us if you do a recurring gift for the next 12 months. That will let us know where we're at financially. And as soon as Michael gets us through with the city and we have the funds, then we will break ground. We're going to start and believe the Lord will take in and provide every step of the way. I'm so glad that you chose to be with us. Hey, tell your friends to join us on our podcast every single week. A new one comes out each Wednesday. I'll see you next week, folks. God bless you. Bye-bye.